The Celtics, the NBA's second-best road team, bring their show to Salt Lake City. Boston and Larry Bird are in the hunt for the best record in the Eastern Conference. And with youth and their championship trio, this team feels it could be the year for NBA Title 17. Tonight, they take on Utah, a team with the third-best home record in the league. The Jazz and Karl Malone find themselves in a Midwest Division dogfight. The mailman plans to put his stamp on the Celtics. Bailey and Malone, the forwards. Eaton at center. Jeff Malone and John Stockton are the starting guards for the Utah Jazz. They've lost 3 games in a row, including on Monday night at San Antonio. Dick Bavetta, Jim Clark, and Nolan Fine will be trying to control the game here tonight. And the Celtics come in with a 5-game win streak. But the Utah Jazz, one of the best records in the league at home. They've won 9 in a row. As you look at how these two teams have matched up with each other, it'll be Parrish and Eaton jumping at center court. One of the toughest tickets in the NBA's relatively small gym, 12,616. You're a year away from a brand new arena here in Salt Lake City seating 20,000 plus. Brian Shaw off the ankle injury. He's played well his last couple of games at the point. Larry Bird opens up with a double. It's just inside the three-point line.
And that is what Larry Bird has been doing so well the last 5 or 6 ball games, really stepping out, spotting up well, forcing the defense to come out and take him.
Now here's Stockton looking for the post-up game with Karl Malone. You'll see this a lot tonight. Malone over Parrish. Well, 2 of the best in the game open things up. Malone with 2 and Bird with 2. Bird's going for 3. Right off the top. Rebound Mark Eaton to John Stockton. Bird has been shooting more than 50% from three-point land recently. From Stockton, Karl Malone has 4.
Well, for some reason, the Celtics decided to go with Larry Bird against Malone down low that time. We had been told that Parrish would take him on the low post. They changed it around that time.
Gamble from 14. And Kevin Gamble ties the game at 4. Just moments before the game, Chris Ford was talking about playing Parrish on Malone, and now we have Parrish on Malone on this matchup. Earl Bailey just inside the top of the key, and he has his first basket.
Bailey has that ability to pull up and shoot the jump shot from the top of the key as he did that time. That, of course, opens up the inside game, forces the Celtics to spread it out defensively just a little more.
Reggie Lewis had 27 points in the win at Sacramento last night.
The Celtics got some valuable rest in that game from their starters. Didn't have to play a lot of minutes.
Gamble with his second basket as he flashes through the lane. It's tied at 6.
Talking about a guy that's been hot. He's made 11 of his last 13 field goal attempts over the last couple ball games. He has been playing well also.
Earl Bailey. A couple of rainbow shooters from outside on this team. Darrell Griffith and Earl Bailey reminds you of Purvis Short's rainbow. Shaw posted against Stockton where he uses his height advantage, but good interior defense, and away come the Jazz with the ball, leading by 2. They had Eaton out here, posted up high for a 3-point.
I don't think you'll see Eaton shoot very many from out there.
You'll see him shoot from down there, but not all that well either. Eaton doesn't score many points in a ball game, only about 5 per. He's a defensive player, of course. Lewis from 16. Eaton with another rebound. 8-6 Jazz. Jeff Malone saves it. Jazz picked up Jeff Malone in the offseason to supply that perimeter shooting game. He's averaging nearly 20 a game. Stockton on the drive. He's fouled before he shoots. Count the basket, and he'll go to the line.
I think where you will really start to see the value of Jeff Malone for this team is down the stretch when the races start to tighten up. You'll see Stockton take the ball to the basket right here. He gets Shaw off balance. There's the bump, and he keeps his concentration, gets it to go. But down the stretch, especially the last couple of years, teams have been able to cut off the Jazz by doubling up on Malone down low and not letting Stockton get it from the outside. Now with Jeff Malone in the lineup, he's another threat from the outside.
Jazz lead it by 5 early. 8:48 to go first quarter from the Salt Palace. Stockton with another steal. And the lay-in. John Stockton. Timeout, Boston. 13-6. It's only a 20-second timeout, however.
Well, the Jazz handling the ball very well in the open floor. Defensively, with Stockton out there, he's always going for the loose balls. He's averaging about 3 steals a game. There he is right there, picking it off and taking it right in. And that's the way the Jazz have to play against the Celtics.
John Stockton is second in the NBA in steals behind Robertson in Milwaukee. 5 points, 4 assists, and 1 steal already in this game. And a 7-point Jazz lead early. Boston with a 5-game win streak. They've won 3 on the road. Everybody knows how tough it is, however, to come off back-to-back road games. Boston played at Sacramento last night.
I was kind of wondering how the Jazz would come out, what kind of excitement and enthusiasm they would show. A lot of times after playing long road trips, you come back home and you struggle, especially early.
They just have 2 games here before they have to go to Seattle. John Stockton said it's like playing on the road. It's such a short homestand. Well, Karl Malone has 6 early. Bird over Malone. Bird's 2 out of 3 from the floor. Ryan Shaw playing John Stockton. D. Brown will come in and work over Stockton too. They're trying to pressure Stockton when he has the ball to wear him down a bit, because with the injury to Blue Edwards, not much depth at point guard for Utah. Reggie Lewis blocked by Eaton. John Stockton has Malone. That's a layup for Jeff Malone.
Yeah, he would rather pull up and shoot the 15-foot jump shot than take the ball in on the fast break.
17-8 Utah. Bird doing what Utah wanted to do, had to put it on the floor. Parrish against Eaton. Fade away, he's fouled. Earl Bailey got it.
Karl Malone moves so well without the ball. You see how he runs the floor, which makes it difficult for Parrish to guard him. Now there's the switch right there. Bird and Parrish didn't talk on that, and Malone worked free for the easy one.
Utah on an 11-2 run until that free throw by Robert Parrish. Parrish averaging 14.5 points a game. This is his 15th year, the oldest player in the NBA at 37. That's them both. John Stockton had 20 assists in the game Monday night. He's had 20-plus assists 27 times in his career, if you can imagine that.
He's one of the best in making sure that he gets the ball to the right people at the right time. Of course, it doesn't hurt to have a Karl Malone and Jeff Malone on the wings on the fast break if you're the point guard.
Setting the screen here in the paint for Thurl Bailey to post up against the shorter Kevin Gamble, and Bailey with his turnaround jumper. Stockton has 6 assists, 5 points. Bird feeling it from outside. He's 3 out of 4, and they've all been from the perimeter early in the game.
Oh, he's shooting it with such confidence right now. He's not even hesitating on that jump shot. The Jazz worked on that play today in practice, and he's just making sure that he's finding himself open, taking advantage of it.
Stockton misses the 3. Boston can cut the Jazz lead to 5. Shaw has it punched away. Stockton's hands are lightning quick. Call him Sugar Ray John.
Oh, he's always around the ball.
Bailey goes down. Offensive foul called against Kevin Gamble. And timeout charged to Utah. 6:07 remaining in the first quarter. The Jazz have a lead of 7. Back in another 10 days to 2 weeks. He's missed the last 8 games counting this one, which really affects that Utah bench.
Well, it does, because that forces Thurl Bailey to move into the starting lineup. The Jazz would like Bailey coming off the bench. He provides them the spark offensively. With Blue Edwards out, they just don't have that. Of course, for the Celtics, McHale coming off the bench could be starting anywhere else. D. Brown provides most of the scoring for the Celtics off the bench.
So Utah shooting 75% early in this game. Kevin McHale has checked in for Boston. He's guarding Thurl Bailey. Parrish stays on Malone. Jeff Malone dribbles past Reggie Lewis for the easy lay-in and has 4 points.
You don't see Jeff Malone take the ball to the basket all that often. He likes to pull up and shoot the jump shot, but the lane just opened up. He took advantage of it.
Jazz leading at 21-12. Matching their biggest lead of this ball game. Larry Bird being defended by Thurl Bailey now. Knifes the ball inside to Reggie Lewis.
Good use of the screen along the baseline by Reggie Lewis that time.
Karl Malone tried to kind of reverse roles there and hit John Stockton with a pass inside, with results that were somewhat predictable. Good interior defense by the Celtics. Now D. Brown is into the ball game, and he'll be in there with Brian Shaw as Delaney Rudd comes in at point guard for Utah.
Rudd just a little bit quicker than Stockton, and I think that's the reason why you saw Jerry Sloan counter after D. Brown checked in.
McHale opens with that turnaround baseline jumper over Thurl Bailey. Jazz by 5 points. D. Brown, who's played so well since he had to fill in for the injured Brian Shaw. Now on Delaney Rudd. Rudd out of Wake Forest. Brown out of Jacksonville. Double team on Karl Malone. Now the drive, foul, he misses the basket, but Karl Malone, the NBA's leading free throw shooter in attempts. I mean, he has over 600 and about 2.5 times as many as any single player does on the Boston Celtics.
Well, here it is right here. Malone takes such a beating down low. Of course, Malone, a big guy, got the big upper body. He initiates some of that contact, and sometimes the foul maybe should go the other way, but he spends a lot of time on the free throw line.
Jerry Sloan was talking about the loss to San Antonio on Monday night when Utah went to the Texas City. Said Karl Malone just didn't get to the free throw line enough in the second half. Well, he's been to the line enough in his career, has he not? But when you post up and play with the muscle he does, you're going to go to the line a lot. He hits them both. Four and a half to go, first quarter. Two-man game with Bird and McHale's 2 for 2.
Larry Bird making his first 2 or 3 shots from the outside, set that basket up. The Jazz have to come out and play him out on the floor, and that opens it up down low for McHale and Parrish.
Delaney Rudd really beat D. Brown on the give and go. D. Brown got down there. First he made the mistake of letting him get by, then he fouls him after he hit the layup.
Well, give Karl Malone some credit for the pass right there. He had to make a perfect pass to get it through there. D. Brown with that quickness really recovered kind of well, but there's the move to the basket and the foul.
So Parrish, Shaw, Lewis, and Brown all have 1 foul apiece for the Boston Celtics. 26-18, Jazz by 8 with 4 minutes to go in the quarter. McHale is 3 for 3 from Larry Bird.
McHale with those long arms just makes it very difficult for you to stop him when he catches it on the low post.
And Bird with his 6 points has 4 assists already. Jeff Malone won't fall. Bailey with the rebound. McHale's matched up against Eaton. Parrish against Karl Malone. Brian Shaw trying to defend Jeff Malone. Can't get through the screen. Bad pass. Celtics turnover on the run. Holding foul on Thurl Bailey as Bird went to his left.
Well, as I mentioned, Bird makes those first couple jump shots. Now you have to get out on the floor and guard him. That forces McHale to post up down low, and of course McHale on the night, they'll keep going to him.
Brian Shaw with the inbounds pass. Shaw and D. Brown at the guard spots. Reggie Lewis on the bench. He had 27. Lewis did against Sacramento last night. Boston with 10 to shoot. McHale won't take that long. McHale hasn't missed yet. He has 8 points, 4 out of 4 from the floor.
McHale had only 6 points last night against the Kings. Already he has passed that production from last night.
Rudd once again beating D. Brown off the dribble. Karl Malone with the rebound. Larry Bird goes flying, and it's 28-22. You talked about Delaney Rudd being quick. He is showing the quickness. Remember, D. Brown, one of the quickest young guards in the league.
Well, I think that's why Jerry Sloan made the move to get Stockton out of there right now.
Malone and McHale mixing it up already in this game. Malone really pounding McHale on that entry pass. After McHale hit 4 in a row, Karl's starting to get tough with it.
It is that time of the year, I tell you. Every team knows, especially these two teams, know how important this game is. So you can expect it to be physical the whole night.
A wisely called timeout by Chris Ford of the Boston Celtics. 2 minutes, 31 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The Jazz lead it by 6. By 6.
Outside jump shot. Now the foul was called before the shot right there, and you see what happens there. No punches thrown. Just both guys letting them know that I want this game as badly as you do.
Dick Bavetta's got his hands full there as he pushes Karl Malone away. There's a Detroit-Charlotte score. Detroit was trailing in that game previously, and the Knicks have taken the lead over Philadelphia. We keep you posted on the NBA action, a lot of it around the league tonight, as Chicago has the 9-point lead over Milwaukee. So Kevin McHale goes to the line, and Mike Brown will check into the ball game along with Tony Brown. So we've got enough Malones, Browns, and Smiths here to get really confusing if the coaches decide to go with certain rotations.
It will get confusing. McHale makes the first one.
There's Kevin McHale. It's an off night offensive for him last night against Sacramento, even though Boston won the ball game. And in this game already, McHale is answering for it. He has 10 points. Jazz by 4. Off the hands of Tony Brown from Karl Malone.
The Jazz now with a small team on the floor, and you can bet the Celtics will try to take advantage of it by posting up McHale or Parrish down low. Of course, Larry Bird working against Brown will have an opportunity also.
Brown only 6'6". There's the double team on Bird. Turnaround jump hook doesn't fall. Karl Malone with a rebound. Tony Brown wears number 21 for Utah. Much traveled, 6 NBA teams. Played for Albany in the CBA. Played a little bit in Europe. Even some pickup ball during some of his rest periods.
He's been around, hasn't he?
Reggie Lewis from way outside. McHale tried to get the tip, kept it alive, but Mike Brown, who's been around a little bit too, formerly with Chicago, filling in for Markey at center. Ball away by Karl Malone. And Karl has 12.
I thought Parrish did a good job that time of forcing Malone a little bit farther out on the floor. You want to try to do that against Karl Malone, but he's on the night. That fall-away jump shot looked easy.
Jeff Malone defending Reggie Lewis. Now Bird isolated against Tony Brown. Backing in. Bird practiced about 40 of those before the game started tonight, so he was feeling it there. He has 8.
He was working out against one of the ball boys. Didn't have much trouble getting the shot off. He hasn't to this point against the Jazz either.
And a steal for Larry Bird as the Celtics run. Lewis with the pull-up 10-footer off the glass. Reggie Lewis. And the Celtics have cut this at one time 9-point Jazz lead to 2. Utah has committed 4 unforced turnovers, particularly with this unit.
Well, there's a look at that controlled fast break that the Celtics like to run now.
Delaney run, big basket on the drive past D. Brown. There's the double team on Bird. Behind the back pass attempt for D. Brown out of bounds. Boston ball, 13 on the clock. John Stockton comes in for Delaney Rudd, who was impressive in relief.
Rudd did a good job running the floor. He got a couple baskets, so he didn't hurt the Jazz while Stockton was getting a breather.
And he scored 5. Bird, 20. Bird, I don't know if you could see it on television, cocked his thumb back in his finger and pointed his finger at Tony Brown and went, "Pal, got you." When he's feeling good, he talks a little trash.
Well,
What'd
he
you
does.
say?
He's been known to say a little bit while out on the floor.
7 on the shot clock for Utah. For 3, Tony Brown. He wanted that badly so he could say pow to Bird. Now Bird doesn't get it off before the buzzer. And the Boston Celtics trail it by 2 after 1 quarter. We've got a high-scoring game here, 32-30. Utah leading the Boston Celtics after 1 period of play.
That high-low offense that the Celtics like to run from that right side of the floor to get McHale the basketball. You shoot that turnaround jump shot with those long arms. A tough shot to block.
Kevin McHale could be one of the candidates for tonight's Budweiser Player of the Game. At the conclusion of the game, Jack and I will select the winner of that. Karl Malone with 12 first-quarter points to lead the scoring for the Utah Jazz. Mark Eaton back in the game with Mike Brown, Thurl Bailey, John Stockton, and Darrell Griffith. Stockton, quick drive past D. Brown. Pinckney kept it alive, and here comes Brown.
D. Brown does a great job of pushing the ball up the floor. Real impressive.
D. Brown hits his jumper. During that period that he filled in for the injured Brian Shaw, he really developed confidence in his perimeter shooting game.
Well, that's the one part of his game that hasn't quite been up to par, but he did get a chance to work on it, got some confidence, and will not hesitate to shoot it now.
Look at Pinckney push Thurl Bailey about 4 feet off the block. Bailey backed in. Pinckney had his shirt, no whistle. Bird wanted that shot, but Darrell Griffith was in his space. No look pass attempt on the baseline to Reggie Lewis. Out of bounds, Boston turnover. It's tied at 32.
D. Brown with the shot from the corner. That's after he pushed the ball down the floor to get the Celtics set up in the early offense. That jump shot is getting better as the season goes on.
Had the switch there with Stockton and Brown. Out to Darrell Griffith for the rainbow three. It goes wide. Pinckney with a rebound. Lewis, McHale running the court. Lewis with the 8-footer as he had John Stockton down there, and the height deficiency cost Stockton on that one, and the Celtics have taken the lead after trailing by 9 midway through the first quarter. Into Mike Brown over Pinckney. Pinckney may have got the piece of that. McHale with a rebound.
The Celtics have forced the Jazz into the half-court game, and in the half-court offense, the Jazz having a difficult time getting the shots off over those taller players down low.
McHale trying to set a pick, but Mike Brown hit him so hard he couldn't set it cleanly. Bird's three misses. Griffith gives to Stockton. Jerry Sloan up at the top of your screen calling the plays in the gray jacket. Sloan just named by the Chicago Sun-Times to the all-time Chicago Bulls team. Got a foul away from the ball.
First foul committed by number 54, Pinckney. First personal.
Pinckney.
Celtic team foul.
Reciprocant of the personal is first.
You saw the Jazz that time set up in the half-court offense, and you see how difficult it is now for them to work someone free. Of course, Karl Malone on the bench makes it a little more difficult for the Jazz to find a good shot.
Stockton pops out to look for the jumper over D. Brown. Now looking for Mike Brown against McHale.
That's not the shot you want Brown shooting.
Boston has outscored Utah 24-13 since McHale came in off the bench. Beautiful pass to Pinckney, who banks it over everything. Darrell Griffith from the Doctors of Dunk.
Darrell has really been struggling for playing time. He has now been once again the third guard in the rotation for the Jazz, but for a while there he had lost that position
to Andy Toulson, who's a rookie out of Brigham Young, who might get some action in this ball game. It's tied at 34. McHale against Brown. Then he gets the hook up, misses it, will go to the line.
That's the play the Celtics went to when they were able to switch control of this game. The Jazz got off to the good start. McHale came into the game, was posting up well down low. Larry Bird getting him the basketball. He's had a lot of success with that little turnaround jump shot.
Foul was on Mike Brown. McHale shoots two. Boston shooting 83% from the free throw line as a team. Gamble and Shaw come into the ball game for Bird and Brown. Bird played 52 minutes in our telecast against Portland in the Boston overtime win up there. Only 33 minutes last night. We'll see how much bench he gets from Chris Ford right here. King of the minutes, Karl Malone, getting a rest for the Jazz right now. Malone gets in about 40 minutes a game. Have a hold against Boston. And Thurl Bailey posted. It's against Brian Shaw.
Well, that's a serious mismatch, and of course, in that situation, Thurl Bailey should have the basketball on the low post. The Jazz did a good job of making sure he was isolated. They spread the floor very well, forced the foul.
Celtics with 2 team fouls, Utah with 1. Stockton with a 17-foot jumper. Celtics lead it by 4 as Reggie Lewis gets it to circle in, and that's the Celtics' biggest lead. Reggie Lewis now with 8 points. He had 27 just last night. 22nd timeout called for Utah just as Stockton had beaten his man off the dribble.
Well, Stockton likes to do that. The Celtics thought the timeout was coming. He decided to take it on to the basket, but the whistle blew from the other side of the floor.
As you look at Chris Ford, remind you next Wednesday, March 20th at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, the Detroit Pistons against the Philadelphia 76ers. Ron Thulin and the Goose will have that one for you. And Jack, speaking of your basketball, you are marathon man. Our game tonight, 4 NCAA playoff games tomorrow right here in Salt Lake City.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a tough couple of days, but some real good teams in the West this year in the NCAA tournament. A lot of good teams right here. Arizona, Seton Hall being just 2 of 8 pretty decent teams here.
Celtics 38-34, 8-10 to go in the half. Bailey misses from 16. Rebound Pinckney. Lewis kicks it to McHale. Thought about the 3. Shaw steps up to the free throw line.
Well, I don't know what Shaw was waiting for on that shot. He thought it wide open. I think it surprised him that no Jazz defender was right there.
Shaw gets the push on Stockton. That'll be 3 on Brian Shaw if he's the man who gets called for it. That's 3 on Brian Shaw pretty early in this ball game, and that'll get D. Brown off the bench.
I think Shaw was just a little frustrated after missing that wide open jump shot on the other end. Picked up his 3rd personal.
John Stockton, he's not underrated. I won't call him an underrated point guard. He is certainly underpublicized as a point guard in the NBA.
I think so, but you look at the Celtics and the Knicks and some of the teams in the East, the big markets, and of course those teams you hear a whole lot more about. Here in Salt Lake City, the Jazz, a real good team we talked about in the open. You just don't hear a whole lot about them.
This time D. Brown with the drive, tried to shovel to McHale, intercepted. Here comes John Stockton looking to do what he does best. Hands off to Bailey, who has 8. Stockton with 8 assists already. It's tied at 38. McHale misses the 3. Wouldn't be surprised to see Larry Bird back in here before too long.
I think you're probably right. You can tell with him on the bench, the Celtics offense just not flowing like it was while he was in there.
A double team on Malone, tried to shovel it inside to Eaton. Broken up by Boston. Here's D. Brown. D. Brown gets the McHale pick. Misses his jumper. Rebound Karl Malone, who has 3. Jazz can take the lead on this possession.
Well, both teams have cooled off an awful lot. The Jazz committing the turnovers also.
Pinckney and Malone looking like sumo wrestlers down there. And the foul is called. The Jazz get the timeout with 6 minutes 35 seconds to go in the half. So the Celtics and the Jazz have knotted it at 38. And New York. You were talking about how cold both teams were, but look at Utah in the second quarter.
The Jazz only 2 of their last 12 field goal attempts. They've also turned the ball over a couple of times, and that, of course, allowed the Celtics to take control of the game. But then the Celtics themselves only 38% from the field, so both teams have cooled off a lot here in the second period.
Utah sending John Stockton, Jeff Malone, Karl Malone, Mark Eaton, and Thurl Bailey, their starters, back out on the floor. Boston will counter with Kevin Gamble, Reggie Lewis, Kevin McHale, D. Brown, and Robert Parrish. Bird will continue to rest. You see him resting that back down on the floor. Celtics, of course, have that team playing that really helps him out. It's helped him with his back, helps the injury situation. And I saw in this recent 7-game road trip in which Utah went 4-3 that they borrowed Sacramento's plane. Chartered some.
Well, it makes it good when you can leave out right after the game, get to the city, and get a good night's sleep. Good inside move once again by Karl Malone.
And a good delivery pass from Thurl Bailey. Malone has 14. Jazz regain the lead, 40-38. McHale gets the double team. Now they back off it. Pass pass inside to Parrish from Kevin McHale. He used to call him the black hole. Chris Ford says Kevin McHale is starting to pass the ball very well inside.
Well, he's becoming a much better player, much more team-oriented player. And, of course, when you're running the fast break, getting easy shots in the early offense, that makes that pass a lot better.
Did you see Jeff Malone? He was thrown about 10 feet by Robert Parrish into the expensive baseline seats.
You see Stockton right here. He's going to give a little screen on Parrish down low. That frees up Karl Malone, and Parrish didn't like the screen at all.
Particularly from 6-foot-tall John Stockton. 42-40 Utah. 5:38 to go first half. To shoot for Boston. Brown open from 19. He's 2 out of 3 from the perimeter.
The Jazz forced now to double team down low, and of course McHale, a pretty good passer, sees the floor very well. D. Brown, we've mentioned already that jump shot really working well for him. Doesn't hesitate.
Speaking of jump shot, Jeff Malone.
When you're talking about a pretty shot, I mean just pure form on that shot from Jeff Malone.
Jazz in the lead again by 2. Reggie Lewis. The whole hard against Bailey. Pulls up for the 8-footer. Reggie has 10. Remember, he had 27 last night. He's been really playing well offensively lately.
He has averaged about 21 points a game on these 3 road games for the Celtics on this recent trip.
Bailey and Parrish slamming against each other inside. Gives Stockton room to shoot the short 4-footer. It won't go. D. Brown has Gamble on the right. Got it to Lewis on the left. McHale thought about the 3-pointer. There's the pick and pop. How many moves does McHale have?
He keeps the ball moving. Those long arms make it look like he's covering a lot more ground than he really is.
Reggie Lewis really popped Jeff Malone there at half court. He'll be called for the foul. I think Malone's all right.
I think so, and Reggie Lewis goes over to make sure that he's okay. Not an intentional play at all. But Jeff Malone really gets it across the face right here.
That's Lewis to the ball to Jeff. Jeff Malone, one of the best free throw shooters in the NBA. Second. Kiss.
And as always.
Kiss of the statistics. Now Larry Bird checks back in. And Larry rested almost 4 minutes there. Long rest for him on the bench as Boston held even at 44.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why he was able to stay over there. The Celtics didn't lose any ground with him over there. And, of course, Bird with that lower back problem needed the rest.
Larry Bird, Parrish, Lewis, D. Brown, McHale on the floor for the Celtics. McHale from long range with 9 to shoot. Rebound for Bailey. Bailey's open for that jumper.
He shoots it high, doesn't he?
Jazz by 1. Celtics could regain the lead. We've had 3 lead changes and 9 ties in this game. Reggie Lewis behind the Bird screen.
Reggie Lewis.
Lewis with 12. Has 8 in this quarter. Parrish battling to get through the screen set by the double screen by Malone and Stockton.
Well, if I was John Stockton, I'd stay out of there for a little while. Parrish really pushing him around down low.
Lewis misses the jumper. Eaton gets the rebound. And Karl Malone has injured his right ankle, I believe. One of the Iron Men in the NBA, certainly an Iron Man for this Utah team. Let's see if he's all right. He has started and played in every single Utah Jazz game this year. Looked like his right ankle, lower calf.
He came down on it funny. I don't know if he came down on Mark Eaton's foot or not. Both of them going for that rebound. Let's hope okay. The Jazz, that would be a big loss at any time, but they definitely don't want to lose him right now.
We'll check on the situation with Karl Malone when we return. Right now the Jazz lead it by 1. Just under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Ankle. See if you can get a shot of it here, Goose.
Well, Eaton is going for the rebound also. Malone just kind of lets up and allows Eaton to get in there, and I thought he might have come down on Eaton's foot, but from that angle, it didn't look like he did. I think he just came down on it funny, but I think we'll see him back in the game the second half.
Talk about the Iron Man. He's only missed 3 games in his career, but look at this entire team. Karl Malone, John Stockton, Bailey, and Eaton.
Got some guys that really love to play the game. Playing with a lot of pain is no problem for these guys.
19 games missed between those 4 in their career. Jazz up by 1. 5 to shoot. Jeff Malone, fadeaway jumper. Defended well by Lewis. Mike Brown is into the ball game along with Eaton, Thurl, Bailey, as Karl Malone nurses his ankle on the sideline. D. Brown wide open from 19 feet. A little flat. Rebound, Mark Eaton to Stockton. To Mike Brown. Hard to the hole. McHale with the foul before the block.
McHale didn't like it, and he made a good play on the ball, but I think he got him on the lower body with his left hand. Let's see right here. He's going to go up. Now there's a little push in the back.
Ticky-tacky.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of contact.
But it was on the lay, and Mike Brown go to the line. Kevin McHale walking a little gingerly himself with that wrapped up knee brace. And remember, McHale missed a bunch of games with an ankle injury. Still no word on Karl Malone. When he walked off the floor, he walked by himself, as you see Jerry Sloan talking to Malone. Malone leaning back there in the bench in front of the coolers on the side. Looked like the kind of ankle that maybe he'd get back in the ball game.
Yeah, put a little more tape on it, and
tape
I
and
think he'll be all right.
To it. It's so easy to say over here.
Oh, it really is.
You know
it
what
really
it's like to be hurting in there. D. Brown answers with a jumper this time. Bird's got 6 assists. D. Brown has 6 points.
It has to help a guy like D. Brown coming into the NBA, being able to play with the Larry Birds and Parishes, all those guys that have been around for so long.
Bird backed off Bailey, made him pay. Jazz lead by 2, and you heard the crowd applaud. It wasn't for Bailey's lay-in, it's for Karl Malone, who's about to come back, the franchise.
I didn't think we'd see him until the second half, but it might be good to get him to work out just a little bit to keep it loose.
Beautiful pass. McHale inside to Parrish. It's tied at 50. That's the 11th tie in the game. Parrish has 6. Ten to shoot. Mike Brown inside. Tough move by Mike Brown over Robert Parrish. He has 3 points, his first field goal.
The Jazz getting some scoring off the bench here tonight. That's one thing they wanted. Delaney Rudd came in, did a pretty decent job, and Brown has added a few points.
Bird's fall away jumper is rebounded by Mike Brown. On the run again from Stockton, but this time Bird bothered him. Parrish took it, and now it's a 3-on-3 break. Bird with a ball fake. Stockton in his face. McHale over Eaton. Parrish back to McHale.
The Celtics doing a real good job of moving the ball around. Look how quickly those passes are going.
McHale with the hook in between the defensive stance of Eaton, and here's Stockton. It's 3-on-2. The trailer, Jeff Malone with a lay-in from Bailey. Jazz build a 4-point lead with only 15 seconds to go in the half. Offensive foul on Robert Parrish. And
finally, Stockton was able to get the call. He and Parrish have been bouncing back and forth off of each other. Stockton is used a lot by the Jazz on screens down low, and a lot of times Parrish is the guy that he has been screening.
We talked about matchups. We did not talk about Stockton versus Parrish, did we?
That was one that I didn't count on.
Coming up at halftime, the potential halftime report, Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studio. Scores and highlights from around the league featuring Eastern Conference matchup, New York and Philadelphia. Knicks 9 out of 10 now. Chicago, Milwaukee also. The letter to the mailman, Karl Malone, 4-3 with 1.5 seconds left in the half. John Stockton gives Utah a 7-point lead at halftime. Utah had led by 9. Boston got up by 6, and then the last just over a minute, thanks to a Stockton three-pointer among others, Utah builds the 7-point lead, and Utah was shooting the lights out. Both teams shooting about 50%.
And the Jazz cooled off there for a while, made only 2 of 12 shots on one stretch. So it's surprising that they're shooting the percentage that they are. Two teams that normally do a pretty decent job defensively.
Jazz cool off to 59%.
Cooled off to 59%. The Celtics at 54. So both teams, as I mentioned, shooting the ball very well. The Jazz getting some points off the bench, only 10, but that's good. They've been struggling getting points there. The Celtics getting 12 from McHale, doing also doing well from the bench.
And Karl Malone, who twisted ankle, will be okay, was pounding it inside as usual, this time from Delaney Rudd on the miss.
Well, this is his game right here. He goes over the back of Larry Bird and comes away with one, gets a break on that play. McHale came off the bench. As I mentioned, he had 12 points, and he got him just about every way you can get him. That little turnaround jump shot worked real well, but this time he puts it on the floor and goes up over Mark Eaton.
McHale was, when McHale came in, Boston was down 9 points. He hit his first 4 shot. Boston eventually tied, took the lead. Then he missed his last 6, and now Boston trails. So as McHale goes, so goes Boston thus far in this ball game tonight.
And I tell you what happens when McHale misses the shot. You see the scoring leader there in the first half. It gives the Jazz an opportunity to get out in the fast break. They're rebounding well. They're getting it out in the fast break and getting some easy shots. The Celtics for a while forced the Jazz to go to the half-court game, and they had a lot of problems scoring, especially down low against the Celtic front line.
And there's the heart and soul of that team, as you see the balanced scoring led by the mailman, Jeff Malone, with 11. Boston will start with the lineup that began this game, and that's Brian Shaw, Kevin Gamble, Reggie Lewis, Robert Parrish, and Larry Bird. And Utah likewise starts with their starting lineup, Jeff Malone and Stockton at the guards, Bailey, Mark Eaton, and Karl Malone up front. It's 57-50 Utah. Opening moments, third quarter from the Salt Palace. Malone gets the double team down low. They reverse it to Jeff Malone from 18. Rebound Robert Parrish.
Well, that's the shot Jeff Malone normally makes. He'll have to make that because the Celtics will double team Karl Malone down low.
Bird thought about the 3, stepped in, missed the 18-footer. Utah's won 9 in a row here at the Salt Palace, even though they're on a 3-game losing streak, the last 3 of that 7-game road trip. Karl Malone's ankle doesn't bother his shooting touch. He has 18.
Well, when you get the ball in that kind of position, Stockton made the move to the basket, forced the defense to collapse on him. Malone wide open. He's going to make that shot.
Karl Malone on Larry Bird. Parrish pick. 7 seconds for Robert Parrish to shoot, stripped away. 7 Boston turnovers. Lob into Karl Malone, and the block by Reggie Lewis, but the foul also.
And Malone once again slow getting back up after that foul. Stayed under the basket there for a while. You see him right there limping just a little bit. The lob pass coming over top of the defense, and that's why the Celtics wanted Parrish guarding them on the low, guarding Karl Malone on the low post instead of Larry Bird because of that lob pass.
Stockton may be the best in the business at delivering the ball inside.
Well, that pass is a very difficult pass to make, especially when you talk about the bodies as they are for both teams. When you post up down low, it takes a guy that really knows how to make the pass to get it there.
Stockton, if you look at Karl Malone's numbers, leading the league in assists, just ahead of Magic Johnson. Stockton averaging 14.4. I told you he had 20 assists in the loss at San Antonio Monday night. Parrish, Utah ball, and Chris Ford seen enough of this. He's going to get a timeout.
Yeah, Parrish fumbled that one out of bounds.
We have a timeout taken by the Celtics.
A 10-point Jazz lead. That's the biggest of the game. It was 57-50. The Celtics have not scored in a minute 15 seconds. And now 5 p.m. Eastern time. Notice the strange starting time, 9:35 p.m. Eastern time Saturday. The Hawks at Phoenix. Skip Carey and Rick Barry will be in the land of the sun out there with Cotton Fitzsimmons. I don't know, Skip Carey matching up with his old buddy Cotton. That could be rough in Phoenix.
It usually is when those two get together. Cotton, though, doing a good job with that Phoenix team. They are playing well also.
Jazz have built a 10-point lead, their biggest of the game. Celtics haven't scored since the third quarter began. Stockton with a quick move to the hole in the lay-in. Stockton has 12 points. And a 12-point lead is the biggest of the game.
The Jazz doing such a good job now on that half-court offense. Karl Malone passing the ball well when the double team comes.
Gamble delivering to Parrish against Eaton. Eaton with the push before Parrish moved. Eaton fouled out of the game on Monday night against San Antonio down in Texas. It's his first here.
You'll see Stockton right here. He fakes to the middle. You see Karl Malone coming out there. Gets the step on the baseline over Kevin Gamble and makes it look easy once again.
Gamble, with only 4 points in this ball game, didn't score any in the second quarter. Boston digging themselves a deep hole on the road. Ten to shoot for Utah. Here's the switch and the mismatch, but Stockton gets it for 3. Parrish with the board.
Neither team getting much done on the offensive boards, especially the Celtics. Of course, when you make that shot right there, you don't have to worry about it.
Larry Bird had missed his last 3 shots before hitting that one. Bird with 12. Thurl Bailey isolated against Gamble. Now only 7 seconds to shoot. Stockton 5, 4, 3. Stockton buries it just inside the line. Stockton averaging 17 a game, has 14.
Those jump shots going from the outside for the Jazz. Look for him to go down low to Karl Malone this next time down. The Celtics will have to step up the pressure defensively.
Gamble breaks his drought. First hoop since early in the ball game for Kevin Gamble. Good pass from Bailey to Stockton. Shaw got away, I think, with a push. Shaw knifing past Eaton with the tough bank shot off the glass.
Well, it was, and that's something we haven't seen a lot of from the Celtics in this game, and that is the coast-to-coast penetration move from Brian Shaw or D. Brown when he's been in the game.
Shaw's first 2 points of the game, by the way. Jazz by 8, 18 to go, third quarter. Malone past the double team. Running hook won't go. Parrish now with another rebound. He has 5. Stockton goes down. Bird's open for the jumper. Lewis, big rebound behind Eaton, and the foul is going to be on Malone for the hold. That'll be 2 on Karl Malone.
This is something we haven't seen a lot of, as I mentioned. The Celtics able to penetrate against the Jazz half-court defense that time, and Shaw does a good job. Gets it high off the glass. Nice touch on that shot to get it to go.
Stockton defending Brian Shaw. Wants the Parrish pick. Stockton battling through Parrish. I mean, I'm telling you, that's a tough one. And the foul is going to be called on Stockton.
Well, Stockton's going to say that the screen was moving when the contact was made. The officials call it the other way.
Here's the Chevrolet scoreboard. The New York Knicks have won 9 out of 10. They came from behind to beat Philadelphia. Detroit finally got the victory over Charlotte. Detroit trailed in that game for a while. And they've got going into tonight, a 1-game lead over Milwaukee in the East. Milwaukee leading Chicago, by the way, at home. And Phoenix way out in front, playing so very well. They've really improved their team during the season, the Phoenix Suns.
They've made some key moves. Bringing McDaniel over from Seattle was, well, what a move that was. They gave up a lot in Johnson, but McDaniel in the starting lineup has been very effective.
Jazz lead now has been cut to 6. Stockton delivers to Bailey. Bailey lobs. Bird breaks it up, and Malone never got his hands on the ball.
Well, everyone in the building knew that pass was coming. Larry Bird played well from the weak side to pick that one off.
Parrish with the rebound. Batted out his hands. He stays with it. Air ball. Malone now comes away with it. Real tough interior Utah defense. Malone on the break from Stockton. Hard foul from Gamble.
Well, that's the kind of ball the Jazz like to play right there. They worked hard on the defensive end of the floor. Malone filled the lane. Karl Malone, I should say, filled the lane very well. And Stockton, watched the no-look bounce pass. Really makes it at the right time and in the right place. And Karl Malone draws the foul.
Karl Malone had shot 662 free throws coming into this game to lead the NBA. Has an even 20 points tonight. 34 in his last 2 games consecutively. Remember the day he was drafted in the NBA. Our TBS coverage of that. Karl Malone from Louisiana Tech went up to be interviewed by Rick Barry, had tears in his eyes, and said it's a dream come true. What an emotional young man at that point. Hope you enjoyed the halftime feature on Karl Malone, by the way. Mark Eaton picks up his second foul.
It's the second time that Brian Shaw has been able to penetrate against Stockton out in the open floor, takes it to the basket. This time draws the foul. The last time he did that, he was able to get the shot to go on the bank.
Brian Shaw missed 3 games with an ankle twist. They thought it was much more severe than it was in the Portland win at Boston a couple of weeks ago. D. Brown filled in very well. Brian Shaw came back earlier than expected. He's been playing pretty well, but he's not 100% with an ankle.
I don't think so. You can really tell, especially on the defensive end of the floor. You've seen Stockton drive on a number of occasions right to the basket. Of course, Stockton does that. Makes this Jazz team hard to stop.
Malone from 18 feet. His jumper won't fall, but the tip in by Karl Malone. Bird off the screen. Parrish rolls the delivery from Larry Bird. Textbook basketball.
Pick and roll situation right there works to perfection, and no one does it any better than Larry Bird.
Jazz by 6. 6:33 to go, third quarter. Goose Gibbons, Bob Neal from Utah. Thurl Bailey.
Well, not a good shot right there by Bailey.
That was a tremendous pass to Gamble, handed to Lewis, and then a tremendous defensive play by Utah with 18 on the Boston shot clock.
Well, when you're trying to build a lead, you want to make sure you get a good shot. Bailey shot that one, and what made it a bad shot was that the Jazz were in no position to rebound on the offensive boards that time, and usually you get scored on the other end. The Jazz fortunate this time.
Stockton fell down. Shaw's uncontested jumper doesn't fall. He's not feeling it from the perimeter tonight. Malone drew 3. Now Eaton with the left-handed hook shot. Rebound Jeff Malone. And Malone comes away holding the groin. He injured his groin a couple of weeks ago. They have re-injured it there on that play. Knocked out of bounds, 17 on the shot clock for Utah.
Jeff Malone's going to ask to be left in the game right here. Now here's that pick and roll situation. The pick from Parrish. He drops and goes right to the basket. Uses the quickness against Mark Eaton for the easy 2.
Well, Jeff Malone can't get the layup to fall, and the Celtics back. Brian Shaw on the drive into Eaton. The man mountain stopped that one. Now Jeff Malone against Bird. To Stockton, to Malone. Knocked out of bounds by Stockton. Celtics ball, trailing by 6. We're going to get a Boston timeout. Chris Ford knows his Celtics are battling back in here. We might see McHale before too much longer. In the first half, when McHale came in and turned things around for Boston offensively.
Third period of play, and that's the reason why neither team seems to be able to get much accomplished here in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Well, Kevin McHale has checked in for Boston. Boston trailed by 9 in the first quarter when McHale came in. He hit his first 4 baskets of the game, and Boston eventually took the lead. McHale finished the half cold, however. So it's Brian Shaw, Reggie Lewis, Kevin McHale, Larry Bird, and Robert Parrish. Seven seconds to shoot. McHale into the paint. The fade away. Doesn't get his first one this time. The rebound stolen by Lewis into Parrish. Big play by Reggie Lewis.
Reggie Lewis stayed right with that when Mark Eaton had it, and the rest of the Jazz leaked out trying to get out on the fast break, but Reggie Lewis stayed right with it, picked it off.
Delaney Rudd in for John Stockton. Rudd, number 11, with the ball. Into Thurl Bailey. Got McHale airborne through the foul, and we'll get the 3-point opportunity. 2 fouls on McHale.
Bailey with the little pump fake. I think this is a better matchup for Bailey, working against one of the taller players. You see right there, he gets McHale up. Bailey uses his quickness in that matchup with McHale and has a chance for the 3-point play.
NCAA tournament about to start. Thurl Bailey and his NC State team reminding me of that. Of course, I remember Goose Gibbons, Kentucky 1978 MVP Final Four.
Nothing like the Final Four. Nothing like the NCAA tournament. A lot of fun.
Nothing like your, what, 41 points in the championship game?
41.
Oh.
Thanks a lot for throwing that one in. Give me a little pub here.
You deserve that. I remember it clearly. It seemed like yesterday. It was 1978. Thurl Bailey with the jump hook, and it's 73-66. 4:18 to go in the third, and now we have some bonus NBA coverage for you on TNT. That Chicago-Milwaukee game.
Thank you very much, Bob Neal.
Chicago-Milwaukee game. We'll keep you posted on that here at the Salt Palace. Goose Gibbons, Bob Neal with you. 2:15 to go, third quarter. The Jazz with a 3-point lead, but Mark Eaton just committed his 4th personal, and Robert Parrish goes to the line for the Boston Celtics. Celtics with a 5-game win streak. The Utah Jazz on a 3-game losing streak, but they were all on the road. See Eaton sitting down with his 4. Jazz have won 9 in a row here at the Salt Palace.
Mike Brown checked in for Mark Eaton. That gives the Jazz a little bit more quickness. McHale had been working well from the outside, forcing Eaton to come out, and that created some opportunities down low for the Celtics. This lineup might match up a little bit better.
Tony Brown, number 21, in there with Mike Brown. Brown to Brown. Karl Malone, jumper over the top, turnover, violation. It'll be Boston ball, trailing by 2. And Stockton back into the game for Delaney Rudd.
Delaney Rudd got just a couple of minutes during this little stretch here where Stockton went to the bench to catch his breath. Jerry Sloan, I'm sure, feels like he needs Stockton in there right now to make sure this Jazz offense starts to flow a little more smoothly.
I like the look of Delaney Rudd, but being Stockton's backup's like being Bird's or somebody's.
Yeah, you never know from game to game how many minutes you're going to get.
Bird with the basket and the foul. Bird now with 14 and a chance for a 3-point conversion.
Well, this little fall-away jump shot for a guy that's 6'5", 6'6", very difficult. And I'm telling you from experience, because I've had to guard Larry Bird, or attempt to guard Larry Bird, and when he's making that fall-away jump shot, it's almost impossible for a guy that size to stop.
Bird gets the 3-point conversion. The Celtics take the lead for the first time since mid-second quarter with a minute 35. It was 64-52 Utah. Boston running. D. Brown lightning quick against Stockton. Back to Bird. Look at the shovel pass inside. No basket, but the foul, and Bird with a patented no-look shovel pass into Lewis.
Well, Karl Malone is very, very upset. He thought he got pounded as he took the ball to the basket on the other end of the floor. He is still barking at Dick Bavetta because he didn't get the call, but the Celtics come right back down, force the action, and as good teams do, they take advantage of those situations.
Reggie Lewis with 17 quiet points here. Drops them both, and the Celtics now with a 3-point lead over the Jazz. Minute 20 to go, third quarter. That pass by Larry Bird was something to see.
Really, Lewis has been playing very well, though, on this road trip. He had 27 in the first game out here, 19 against the Blazers in that overtime win, 27 last game. So he's been playing last night, so he's been playing well.
Now, derisive applause from the Utah crowd as Karl Malone does get the foul call this time, and Parrish picks up his 3rd.
The Mailman shooting 2.
The Mailman has 25 points in the game. Minute 7 to go, third quarter.
David Owen scores.
8 rebounds, and look at that shooting percentage for Karl Malone.
Well, he was 7 of 7 for a while. I was surprised he didn't have more shots, or hadn't had more shots. When you have a guy shooting like that, a guy that you like to go to anyway, you like to try to have him to get more involved in the offense. The Celtics still doing a good job defensively on him with the double team.
Celtics lead it by 1 now. Minute to go, third quarter. They've got Bird posted down low against Tony Brown. Let's see if Lewis can get him the ball. There comes the double team. The open man is McHale. The lob to Parrish. Tipped out of there by Brown, and Malone to Stockton. Tony Brown's open for the 15-footer on the baseline. Rebound Lewis.
Well, you see the Jazz have a difficult time when they have their forward shooting from the outside. Stockton with the foul out away from the basket before the shot.
Stockton reminds me of a pinball tonight. That's his second. He has been bouncing off screens, and I'm talking about 6'9" Larry Bird, 7 foot tall Robert Parrish.
Well, Stockton, I don't know why he's down there with those big guys. He's going to lose out every time, even if he gets a foul called his way. Physically, he's going to lose out.
Pinckney in for Parrish. This program authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited. Plus, Goose will give you a call.
I will call him up, definitely.
3-point Celtics lead, 20 seconds to go in the period. Stockton got that baseline screen. Brown popped off the stack and missed the jumper. That's 2 in a row he's missed.
Well, as I mentioned, the Jazz having a difficult time from the outside at that forward position, both the small forward and the power forward.
There's the NBA slam dunk champion getting slam dunked himself, D. Brown. Stockton almost hit it. It was after the buzzer, however. Wild, woolly third quarter. The Celtics somehow emerged with the lead, 80-77. Can't get it to go down. Celtics and the Jazz are cold. The Celtics continue to lead by 3 with 11:04 to go in the ball game at the Salt Palace.
I expect we'll see Karl Malone come back in the game really quickly here, especially if the Jazz don't score on this possession. Malone had 11 of the 20 points for the Jazz in that third period.
Darrell Griffith launches a long one, and Mike Brown steals the tip and drops it in. The Jazz down by 1.
Well, that's what the Jazz have to have from Mike Brown when he's on the floor. He has to be active on the boards on both ends to try to pick up some dirty baskets down there on the offensive boards.
McHale's turnaround jumper goes down. That's the first shot McHale has hit in his last 9 attempts.
Well, he started out so hot in this game. The Celtics used him very well on the low post early.
Stockton dribbled it off his knee. Bounces into Brown. Stripped away by Lewis, then Bird. Now we got a jump ball with 10 on the shot clock. Strange call.
Brown lost control of the ball and went to the floor. They're going to call a jump ball in this situation.
Reggie Lewis, the superior leaper here by a long shot. But Brown steals the bad toss.
That's still one of the most difficult plays for the officials, just tossing the ball up. It looks easy. When you have these big bodies under there, you have to get it up. It's very difficult.
Darrell Griffith to Stockton with 10 to shoot for Utah, trailing by 3. Mismatch, Bailey open. Bird lost that rebound to Brown, who's playing a tremendous game the last couple of minutes.
Valuable minutes for Malone while he's on the bench.
And the hold against Boston. It's on Ed Pinckney. That's his 3rd personal. And we're going to get Karl Malone in, and you're exactly right, Jack. Mike Brown came in and did what they asked him to do. Played tough defense, hustled, and provided an occupation of significant space.
I think so, and he didn't commit the fouls. He didn't get into foul trouble. He was able to give them some minutes without hurting them, and that's what the Jazz need from him. Malone needs a few minutes during the game, and when Brown plays that way, they can give him to him.
Malone looks a little tired. We've seen a couple of his jumpers hitting the front of the rim.
Shot that one maybe a little too quickly, just coming in off the bench.
9:20 to go in this game. Celtics by 3. Reggie Lewis from McHale. Parrish missed the tip in, and Karl Malone comes away with it. Well, Utah's got an opportunity to get the lead back in this game, but they can't get it to go down. Malone try it from the other side. This time it's up the back of the rim. 29 for Karl Malone. 9 minutes to go in the game. It's a 1-point contest. Celtics 82, Jazz 81. Disappointment. Right here, Boston has their own difficulty. 82-81, only a 1-point lead, and the Celtics have really owned the West Coast road trips. 3-0 on this particular trip. We televised that overtime victory over Portland. They defeated LA, Portland, Sacramento, and look at this on the West. What a record, 9-2.
Well, the Celtics doing it defensively. Only one team, and that was Portland, that scored over 100 points. They did that in overtime, so the Celtics doing it with good aggressive defensive play in those games on the road.
Robert Parrish with his first basket in the fourth quarter has 17. Boston builds the lead to 3. A lot of playing time for D. Brown tonight. You got to think that perhaps Brian Shaw's ankle's bothering him a little. Karl Malone with the turnaround jumper, and Karl has 31.
I think Boston also likes D. Brown in the lineup because he keeps the pressure on Stockton. With his quickness, he forces Stockton to play on both ends of the floor.
Larry Bird missed a 13-footer. I haven't seen that in a couple of years. Celtics lead is only 1.
And you know where the Jazz are going to go just about every time down right now.
Malone waves him through the lane, the turnaround jumper. He waved Griffith, then turned around and has 33.
Well, he has that quickness advantage in that matchup against Parrish. Parrish really has to lay off just a little bit. As soon as he comes out, you know Malone's going to put the ball on the floor and take it to the hole.
McHale set the pick on Stockton. Boston has 7 to shoot. McHale over Malone. Not this time. The Jazz with a 1-point lead and a chance to build.
Talking about shots coming up just a little short. The last 2 possessions for the Celtics, they might be getting a little tight.
Earl Bailey, and it's a 3-point Jazz lead with 7.5 to go in the game. Chris Ford will get a timeout, and this crowd on their feet at the Salt Palace. Done down there, thanks primarily to Karl Malone.
Yeah, no question about that. Malone has really been able to take advantage of that matchup with Robert Parrish down low, using his quickness to create shot opportunities.
Jazz by 3, 7.5 to go in the game. D. Brown, McHale, Parrish, Brian Shaw back in with Bird now. Against Eaton, Griffith, Earl Bailey, Stockton, and Karl Malone. Shaw, penetration, jump hook. Big bucket for Brian Shaw, who has 8 in the game. And a feeling this one's going to get right down to it also.
Well, it looks like it. I think the Celtics now will make a quick move down to double team on Karl Malone.
Into Eaton, but out of bounds. It'll belong to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, they did come with the double team, forced Karl Malone to give it up. Eaton just could not handle the pass. Jeff Malone checked back into the game. Jeff Malone's been struggling offensively. We'll see if he can get it going.
We thought we were going to see a little bit of Andy Toulson, the rookie from Brigham Young, in the game, who's been battling for that third guard spot with Griffith, but he has not entered the game so far tonight. Boston has 8 to shoot. Brian Shaw mixed up there between Eaton and Stockton. Good defensive play by D. Brown. Even better recovery by Stockton.
It really was. I thought he was going to travel with it, but he's so good with the dribble. Takes control of the ball very quickly.
Move into Eaton, surprised him, but the big man puts it down.
Yeah, he stuck his hands up there just in the right time and was able to control that pass.
First 2 for the game for Mark Eaton. He only averages about 5. Stockton with 13 assists in this game. Parrish sets the pick for Bird. Back to Parrish. Gets Eaton airborne, but Earl Bailey was there. Great team defense by the Jazz.
Well, Stockton did a real good job defensively against Shaw the time before. This time Bailey comes over from the weak side, gets a hand on it, and the Jazz with a chance to get 2 more.
Jeff Malone, alone from the baseline, is going to stick that one about 9 out of 10 times. The Jazz have built a 5-point lead with 5:45 remaining in the game from Salt Lake City, Utah. Right now, they're down 5. Jeff.
Well, as I mentioned, this is where the Utah Jazz will really be tough down the stretch, because teams in the past could stop Karl Malone by double teaming, cutting off the pass to Stockton, and then the Jazz really didn't have anyone else to go to. Now with Jeff Malone, even though he had missed 5 in a row, sticks that jump shot from the outside. That will get his confidence going. Now the Celtics must be concerned about him.
Jeff Malone was 0 for the third quarter, and it's his only attempt here in the fourth. Lewis. Boston down by 5. Tries to take Bailey off the dribble, and does. McHale trying to stick it back in there over Mark Eaton. That was work hard done.
It really was. Good second and third effort by Kevin McHale. I mentioned when Theroux Bailey is in the lineup, he has trouble guarding the smaller forward. Shaw drove the baseline, Gamble drove to the basket that time and almost made the layup, caused the problem.
Bailey on the drive into the paint, goes to the right hand as he moved left, it'll spin in. As Hot Rod Hundley, the voice of the Jazz, would say, a leaping leaner. Brian Shaw with the basket from Reggie Lewis and the foul.
Basket scored.
It's on Karl Malone. That's 10 points for Shaw.
Number 3 for Kyle. First Jazz team foul.
The Celtics do the little things, and that is why they have been so effective this year. Right here you see McHale with the second and third effort, finally gets this one to go. He wanted the foul. Then the time before, the time after, now Shaw on the line gave the pass outside. The touch pass from Bird got it right back to him, and he has a chance for the three-point play.
And the Celtics pull to within 2 with 4:55 to go from the Salt Palace. And the Celtics have missed only one free throw in this game, 18 of 19. Utah 14 of 17.
83% from the free throw line as a team are the Celtics, so they don't miss many.
Saw Bird double that time, just left Eaton alone. They didn't get the ball to him. It's out of bounds off Eaton. It'll be Celtics ball.
Well, Karl Malone went up to shoot it. The defense adjusted very well. He had to try to throw it to Mark Eaton. Eaton couldn't handle the pass and knocked it out of bounds.
Brian Shaw, defended by Stockton. Bird for 3. Not this time. He's been shooting more than 50% from three-point land in the last 18 games. Illegal defense called against the Celtics.
Larry Bird wanting to get back in there to help out on the double team against Karl Malone, and the officials caught him in the paint that time, guarding no one.
Celtics trailed by 2, 4:16 remaining. First violation, so it's simply a warning. Jeff Malone came off the screen from Stockton. D. Brown got up there to keep it alive for Reggie Lewis.
Well, he can get up, can he? Over Malone that time.
Kevin McHale into Shaw, who was really jammed out of there by Jeff Malone. 8 to shoot for the Celtics. Brian Shaw from 17. Nothing there. Jeff Malone from his favorite spot.
Yeah, he gets on the baseline. He spots up down there, has time to get set. He's not going to miss that one very often.
Jazz by 4. 15 assists for Stockton. He had 20 in the last game, remember. Leads the league. Reggie Lewis kicks it to Shaw from 18. Reggie Lewis took it from McHale. Bird pulls up. D. Brown to McHale, who wasn't ready for it, but he'll lay it in.
Good offensive board work once again by the Celtics. They are just staying right in there until they're able to get the shot to go.
Jazz by 2, under 3 minutes to go in the game. Lower right of your screen, time remaining. Boston with a 5-game win streak on the line. 10 to shoot for Utah. Malone with 7 on the shot clock. Air ball. Bird has it. The holding foul will go on John Stockton.
Well, Stockton got Bird across the arm that time, and fortunately for the Jazz, he did, because D. Brown was streaking along the baseline wide open. Bird had just spotted him and was about to deliver the pass.
Celtics can tie on this possession. Team foul situations, only 2 for the Jazz, only 1 for the Celtics with 2:27 to go.
Not a lot of whistles in this fourth period.
Bird with the screen. The kick out to D. Brown to Reggie Lewis. Nothing but air. D. Brown had no chance on Karl Malone. Chris Ford in the face of Brian Shaw, the Boston coach, as we have a timeout with 2:11 to go in the ball game, and the Jazz build a 4-point lead.
Well, the air ball on the other end by Reggie Lewis created this fast break opportunity for the Jazz. Malone does such a good job of filling the lane. He was down under the basket, got the rebound, ran the floor, and got the pass. Boy, at 6'9", to be able to do that makes it very difficult to match up with him.
Well, for those who think Chris Ford might be a little bit soft as a head coach, you get an idea that he is anything but. Along with Goose Gibbons, Bob Neal with you from the Salt Palace. The Jazz have built a 4-point lead, 2:11 to go in the ball game. Shaw kicks it to Bird. He'll take the 18-footer.
2 minutes remaining.
Larry has missed a lot of shots in this second half that you normally don't see Larry Bird miss, and that time the concentration, you saw it on his face, and he got it to go.
Stockton giving D. Brown all kinds of fits. Now Malone does likewise to McHale. What a move inside. Didn't get it to fall. Bird to D. Brown. D. Brown, let's call it an eye fake.
Oh, nice, nice. We'll call it whatever, but it worked. He got the guys leaning one way. That quick crossover dribble created the lane, opened the trip to the basket down the lane. No one was there, and he made it look easy.
Like a veteran, and he's the rookie. Reggie Lewis strips it from Thurl Bailey. 10 to shoot for Utah. It's tied at 97 with 1:23. We saw a spectacular Boston-Portland game last Sunday night, and now the same is happening here in Utah. Jeff Malone from the baseline. Surprising miss down there, and Boston can take the lead. D. Brown got out of control, but saved it.
Jerry Sloan on the sideline wanted to travel that time. Good body control by D. Brown. Good effort to come up with that, and he spotted McHale out high.
7 to shoot for Boston. McHale sets the pick for Shaw, who kicks it to D. Brown. In and out of there. That ball went all the way in before it came out. Under a minute, it's tied at 97. Malone sets the pick for Stockton. The bounce to Jeff Malone, 8 seconds to shoot. Stockton's pull-up jumper, no good. Bird gets it. Shaw with 33 seconds in the game. Reggie Lewis knifing to the basket, tries to reverse, no good. Malone with the rebound. Timeout, Utah.
Woo! Boy, it's been fun the last minute or so. Both teams giving a great effort defensively. The Celtics forced the miss on the other end as Stockton thought he got bumped. This time the Jazz did a great job of converting defensively, forcing the miss on the layup. The Jazz now will draw a play with 27.4 seconds to go. Now here's the drive. Look how many white shirts are going after this shot as Reggie Lewis makes the move to the basket.
He simply missed the reverse, and that's really a relatively routine shot for him as you take a look at the game reset with the timeouts, the full, the 20, and the fouls to give with 27 seconds to go. Both teams, neither team in the foul.
I think you'll see the Jazz with this possession, of course, try to use up as much time as possible. 24 seconds on the shot clock. They have a full shot clock to work with, 27.4. Of course, Malone down low would be your first option. The Celtics, I'm sure, will double team if he does get it. And look for Jeff Malone, even though he's been struggling here in this second half of play, to be on the opposite end. He might get the shot.
So the Boston Celtics with a 5-game win streak on the line. Tied at 97. It'll be Utah ball. We'll have more NBA coverage coming your way on Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Detroit and Philadelphia. Detroit got the win tonight over Charlotte, come from behind, and the Knicks were ahead and lost it to, the Knicks took the game from Philadelphia. 8 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday night. 27.4 seconds remaining in the ball game. Utah has the ball. And Boston will try to play some defense, which they've done pretty well all year.
They've done a good job defensively. Once again, they are holding their opponent to right around 100 points. The Jazz with 97, as you see right there on your screen. So they have been doing it defensively. The Jazz themselves doing a good job on the defensive end of the floor. I tell you, the Jazz have a lot of people they can go to in this situation. You have one of the best point guards in the league handling the ball in John Stockton. Karl Malone, definitely a go-to guy in this situation. Daryl Griffith will check into the game. That gives them another offensive threat. So the Jazz definitely loading up to end this one in regulation.
Eaton's out of there, so it's Thurl Bailey, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Jeff Malone, Daryl Griffith, all scorers in the game right now. They have 5 weapons on the floor.
5 people you can go to, and that makes it very difficult for the Celtics on defense in this possession.
.16 seconds on the shot clock. About 2 seconds differential in the game shot of the shot clock. We'll count down the shot clock. 7, 6, 5, 4. Stockton, Malone wide open. Yes, with 4.1 seconds, a 2-point Utah lead, and Boston gets a timeout.
You cannot draw it up any better on the blackboard than they ran it on that play. Stockton with the double team, with the pick and roll situation with Malone. Both Celtics defensive players went with Stockton on that play, just what the Jazz wanted, and Malone spots up for the jump shot. Here it is. Now watch, D. Brown and McHale both go to Stockton. That leaves Karl Malone outside, and he hits all bottom with this one. Boy, that's the way it's drawn up. That's the way it's supposed to work.
Karl Malone with 37 in this game. Now the Boston Celtics have 4.1 seconds remaining, trailing by 2. How about the Celtics?
Well, the Celtics also have a lot of people they can go to. 4.1 seconds, a lot of time. Plenty of time to get a shot off. And with Larry Bird, McHale will be in the game. And, of course, you can go with D. Brown or Shaw at the point position, Reggie Lewis, Campbell. The Celtics have a lot of people they can go to also. What they would like to do in this situation, I'm sure, would be to get the ball to Larry Bird as quickly as possible, either on a direct pass from out of bounds, and then allow Larry to work. Of course, he's the kind of guy that can get a shot off or spot the open people under the basket.
Now, we talk about this being a big game for Boston. They have a 5-game win streak, but what about Utah? Remember, in the Midwest Division, these are the standings going into tonight. The team that finishes on top of this division will be seeded second, and depending on how the race goes, the team that finishes second can drop down as far as 5th in the playoffs. And Utah not only is trying to catch San Antonio, but Houston playing well, creeping up on it.
Well, you know how important the home court advantage is in the playoffs and in the NBA in general, but especially the playoffs. And the team that has the home court advantage definitely has a better chance to win in any given series.
Boston has not hit a 3-pointer tonight. Larry Bird's been shooting 50% from 3-point land in the last 18 games, but not tonight. 4.1 seconds left. Boston elected to take the ball at half court. D. Brown. Karl Malone fouls him with 1.3, and D. Brown has an opportunity, the rookie, to drill 2 free throws and tie it and probably send it into overtime, although 1.3 seconds remains.
Well, you know what happened was Malone was wanting to try to foul D. Brown before he got in the act of shooting because the Jazz had a foul to give.
86% shooter.
So Jeff Malone with not a good play in that situation.
To tie. It's tied with 1.3 seconds. Timeout, Utah. We could be staring an overtime right in the face here at Salt Lake City. The last time we televised Boston against Portland Sunday night, that's what happened. And it's tied at 99. We'll be right back. 1.3 seconds to go. Bob Neal, Jack Gibbons with you from the Salt Palace with 1.3. What do we think about the Utah Jazz play? Into Malone.
Well, I think so, but unless it's a lob going to the basket, you might see the Celtics do just what the Jazz wanted to do that time. 1.3 seconds to go. The Celtics with only one team foul here in the second half. They have a foul to give. If they throw it in before the act of shooting, you might see them try to commit the foul. I don't know that I would do that because we just saw what could happen. Jeff Malone wanted to foul D. Brown before he got the act of shooting. D. Brown with that quickness made it so he could not do that. Instead, he fouled him and gave him 2 free throws, and we have a tie game.
Celtics with a 5-game win streak on the line. Utah trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Be unbounded at half court.
Joe Griffin is in the Jazz lap.
Karl Bailey will pull the trigger. Boston, remember, has a foul to give. So did Utah, except they committed the 2-shot foul. Bird stepped right in front of Karl Bailey, and Bird had walked up to Pavetta and told him something right before he did that. There's the delay of game warning to the Celtics.
I think that's what he told him. Said, I'm going to get a delay of game just enough to...
Stockton for 3, in and out of there. Bird walked up to Pavetta and said, I'm going to step out of bounds in his face for a delay of game.
Well, just enough to throw the Jazz off. You see, he gets the ball out of bounds, and Larry Bird just steps up there. Now Stockton, you can't ask for any better shot than this, and watch what it does. In and out. Another look from here.
Well, we've got a 5-minute overtime. The Larry Bird move was unbelievable. To tell Pavetta, step in, get the delay of game, throw them off a bit. Nevertheless, Utah executed exactly what they wanted out of that, and that was Stockton to get loose from the rookie D. Brown and launch a 3-pointer, which he missed. So we'll be back in just a moment. Overtime in Utah. Some overtime tied at 99. The overtime rules. And it'll jump up at center court. And the Celtics got an overtime win at Portland. They're trying to pull the same thing here at Salt Lake City.
Well, that foul on D. Brown by Jeff Malone, a real big play, wasn't it? And what about the rookie just stepping right up there and those down all bottom on both of those free throws?
D. Brown with 28 minutes, a little more than usual for him in this ballgame tonight. Kevin Gamble has been the invisible man because of matchups. Hasn't played much time. 10 to shoot. Karl Malone right into Larry Bird's hand. Now 8 to shoot. Stockton, pull-up jumper from 18. Rebound Larry Bird. Bird has the ball in the open court. Every one of the Celtics better have their eyes on him.
You better be watching the ball because he's capable of putting it to you anywhere you are.
Bird off the baseline screen, gets Malone out on the floor. Fakes him, and Malone gets the block. Whoa, what a play by Karl Malone. Powers to the hoop. No Paul Lewis gets the rebound.
Well, Malone wanted the foul that time, didn't get it once again. And Jerry Sloan is beside himself over on the sideline.
Shaw with the drive, then the dish to McHale. McHale has been cold after opening the game 4 for 4. Still tied at 99. Now under 4 minutes in overtime. Looking for Karl Bailey. Lewis fronts him. Now 8 seconds to shoot. Jeff Malone.
We see the difference between Bailey posting up down low and when Karl Malone posts up down there. Malone very aggressively posts up. That time Bailey didn't really act as though he was really wanting the basketball.
Bird for 3. Bang! Larry Bird gets his first 3 of the night in overtime with 3:20 remaining.
Boy, and did you hear the crowd when they saw him catch the ball from behind the 3-point line? It's like they knew what was coming.
We have at times taken a 3-point lead, but so far in this seesaw game, that hasn't meant much. These teams have traded leads all game long.
Yeah, they have, but Larry Bird somehow opened behind the 3-point line. That's something we haven't seen this entire game. Now, there he is, and just when he catches it out there, the crowd starts to rumble, and they knew what was going to happen.
Look at this. He's been over 50% last 8 games, 30 of 58. I like to call him the assassin. He's not real happy with that tag. Negative connotations, I guess. 3 minutes to go in overtime. Celtics by 3. Bird almost a triple-double status tonight. 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. 10 to shoot for Utah. Karl Malone to Jeff Malone. He traveled. Boston with a chance to build a 5-point or bigger lead with exactly 3 minutes to go in OT.
Boston being a veteran team, a difficult team to come back on in a situation like this, so the Jazz really need to make the effort defensively here.
Bird throws up another 3, not this time, front edge of the rim. Said he was fouled. Stockton with a big penetration. It's a 1-point game.
Where Bird is upset because he feels like the last 2 times, other than that 3-point basket, he has taken the shot from the outside. Malone has gotten him across the arm, and the officials didn't call it either time.
Well, Malone got a block on the one prior to that. Shaw with a penetration, a tough shot. Nothing there because of Markey. A chance for the Jazz to take the lead. Time remaining in overtime down on the lower right of your screen. Illegal defense against Boston. This time the technical, and they'll shoot it. So the Jazz a chance to tie it on the technical and then have possession of the ball.
You saw Larry Bird right there talking to Dick Bavetta, telling him that he's getting hit on this jump shot on the other end. Larry Bird wants him to make that call. Of course, you haven't seen the last shot from Larry Bird, and if he's getting hit on the arm, he won't make it.
Utah will inbound on the side with the game tied at 102, 2:17 to go in the overtime. Stockton with the penetration. Bird comes away with the ball. Has D. Brown, tried to thread it, couldn't do it. Now Brian Shaw with a foul on John Stockton. Bird would like to have that pass back.
Yeah, I think so. That was a difficult pass to make, a tougher angle to make that bounce pass. And I think D. Brown could have gotten to it, but he didn't see it until it was already passing. Wasn't really watching Larry Bird when the pass came. You said that anytime Larry Bird has the ball, you have to have your eyes on it.
Chance for Utah to take the lead with under 2 minutes to go in the overtime. Stockton from 18. John Stockton, 19 points in the game to go with his 16 assists. And the Jazz with a 2-point lead and 1:46 remaining. Well, we've talked about
the game, the big plays down the stretch. Had a chance to win it in overtime. It went in and came back out somehow. Made that little drive. Now the jump shot, and this 2 right here gives the Jazz a 2-point lead.
Well, you know, Bird gets the 3, and we talk so much about it, but then John Stockton answers with the 5, if you will. He got the technical free throw and then hit those 2.
Right. 16 assists to go along with his 19 points in this game.
So Bird and Stockton scored all the points in this overtime period. 1:46 remaining. Jazz up by 2. Boston ball. Reggie Lewis, Brian Shaw, McHale, Bird on the floor. Bird from 18. Not this time. Brian Shaw with another reckless foul. Brian Shaw playing a very distracted game here tonight. That's 5. A couple of fouls he shouldn't commit. Chris Ford has been on his case 2 or 3 times in the game.
Yeah, I think so, but you have to remember Brian Shaw playing with that bad ankle, and that might be weighing heavily on his mind. And you have an injury like that, you're trying to fight off the pain, and you're really not as focused as you normally would be. That could be the case here tonight for Shaw.
Earl Bailey hard to the hoop. And hard to the floor. Jazz by 4, 1:17 remaining. The Jazz 1-1 in overtime this year. Boston Celtics 1-0 with their Portland win. That was Boston's first one last week. D. Brown can't get it to fall. Karl Malone with a big board. Boston went cold. And Utah has them on their feet at the Salt Palace.
Well, you might see that pick and roll situation once again here with Karl Malone and John Stockton.
Stockton hands to Bailey, hard to the hoop again. McHale got a hand on it. Boston ball. With 44 seconds to go, Jazz up by 4.
Bailey has been struggling from the outside. He was open from 15 feet. He hadn't made that shot with any consistency here tonight. Now taking it to the basket. Missed an opportunity for a score.
McHale with the pick for Shaw. Shaw this time just lost the dribble. That that'll about do it. 27 seconds remaining in a Jazz 6-point lead. I don't want to be on Brian Shaw's case, but he has made some serious errors.
Oh, you're right. No question about it. He's made some tough plays down the stretch here for the Celtics.
9 points in a row for Utah. 27 seconds for the overtime.
Well, he's been the guy down the stretch. Definitely for the Jazz. Right here, he gets the ball to Thurl Bailey, who makes the nice drive. And then he's going to reach behind Brian Shaw as he makes the move to the basket. That sets up this one on the other end. Karl Malone almost threw that one too hard. Stockton chased it down, and boy, this guy has made some huge plays in this overtime period.
9 consecutive points by Utah, 7 of them from John Stockton,
and the other one,
that tremendous steal.
The other one, the assist, so he's responsible for all 9 points here in this overtime period.
Bird wants the 3. He's got it. It's a 3-point game with 22 seconds left. One of the best ball handlers in the league, however, running on the open floor. He's fouled in the backcourt. John Stockton.
Now that's the guy you want on the line. Of course, Stockton saw Jeff Malone open, and Jeff Malone, a 91% free throw shooter. He's missed 1 tonight. Stockton wanted to get him the basketball, though. Either one of these guys, good to have on the line if you are the Utah Jazz.
5 out of 5 from the line. Stockton with 10 points, make it 8 points in the overtime. 22 points, 17 assists on the night. Gets them both here. 23 points. Timeout Boston, trailing by 5 with 16.8 to go. And the only 6 Boston points came from 2 Bird triples. By 5 with 16.8 seconds remaining. Here's the reset. Boston with no full timeouts, no 20s, no fouls to give. Big one there for Utah is that they have a foul to give, Goose.
Well, the last time they tried that, they committed it too late and forced the game into the overtime after the rookie D. Brown stepped up and made a couple free throws. You might see them use it right here. I don't know that they need to, though, with the 5-point lead.
Boston in the overtime, only 2 of 8, and as I said, both of those Birds triples. Now the crowd on their feet here for Utah. They have a 9-game win streak going at the Salt Palace. One of the best home records in the league has Utah. They are 25-4 at the Palace. Boston 19-11 on the road. They won 3 in a row on this West Coast streak. D. Brown. Bird wants the 3. He's fouled by Malone with only 4 seconds off the clock. And he looks over at the official and says, "Now you call it."
Bird's been working the officials here tonight.
He even tells them before he commits a violation previously. 12-2 to go in the game. These 2 free throws obviously big. And Larry Bird could pull the Celtics to within 3. Utah has 3 timeouts left for him. 12.2 Boston, of course, looking for the steal. Karl Malone gets the 22nd. Well, it actually can't be a 20 because they're out of 20, so it'll be a full timeout.
It'll be a full timeout. The Jazz didn't want to do that. They wanted to try to get the ball inbounds, of course, to force the Celtics to have to foul. A 3-point game, still time left.
Well, we'll be back to the Salt Palace in a moment with 12.2 to go, and this game is not over yet. 3-point lead for Utah with 12.2 to go in the ball game. Coming up Wednesday night, we continue TNT coverage of the NBA at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Detroit and Philadelphia. Ron Newland will join Jack Gibbons for that telecast for you. 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Wednesday. Jazz by 3, 12-2 remaining in the game. It's almost will almost be necessary unless Boston gets the surprise steal to commit the foul.
Yeah, they'll have to foul as quickly as possible. And of course, the Jazz will try to get the ball into the hands of John Stockton or Jeff Malone. Good free throw shooters will be in the lineup for the Utah Jazz. Eaton at 63.2%, the lowest, but you know he's not going to be in the game.
Delaney Rudd comes in to help with the ball handling.
Yeah, I thought he would, because Delaney Rudd shooting it over 78% from the free throw line. That gives them another one. I think, though, the Jazz will try to keep the ball away from Delaney Rudd also.
Malone inbounds. He's fouled.
The last option forces him to go to him, and that's the guy, of course, the Celtics wanted to have the ball.
Delaney Rudd out of Wake Forest will go to the line. 3-point Jazz lead with 11.1 seconds. This last 20 seconds has lasted a half a week. It's tied at 99 at the end of regulation. Rudd.
He looks good on that one. All bottom. Good follow through. Good concentration. As I mentioned, Delaney Rudd up over 78% from the free throw line. Gets them both.
He drains them both. 5-point Jazz lead. 10 seconds to go in the game. D. Brown will take the three. He misses. Lewis with the rebound. McHale with the follow. He draws the foul with 0.6 of a second, and that won't be enough for the Celtics.
Well, Karl Malone with the foul. Still not a good play. Let the time run on out. Give him the 2 points. You're up by 5 in this situation. You don't want to give him an opportunity to stop the clock. 0.6 seconds to go, though. This one belongs to the Jazz.
The Jazz will go to 2-1 in overtime games, and Boston will go to 1-1 in overtime as Eaton comes in here.
Mark Eaton checks back in
For Delaney Rudd, who did what they asked of him, helped with the ball handling and drained 2 big free throws.
Jerry Sloan with the right selection in that situation gets Delaney Rudd in. He adds 2 points to his totals for this game. Runs back to the bench with a big smile on his face. Did a good job.
We questioned the Utah bench. Blue Edwards still hurt, won't be back for 10 days to 2 weeks, but the bench has played not statistically great tonight, but in spurts have played very well for Utah. And Utah gets the 3-point win in overtime over the Boston Celtics, 112-109. And let's go to Ernie Johnson in Atlanta.
All right, thank you very much.
In overtime, Utah 112, Boston 109, and Utah pulls to within half a game of San Antonio in the Midwest Division. Tonight's Budweiser player of the game, John Stockton. 23 points, 17 assists, 4 steals. Most importantly, an incredible overtime period for John Stockton. He is our Budweiser player of the game. Be sure to stay with TNT. As NBA action continues, the Detroit Pistons take on Philadelphia next Wednesday. Now stay tuned for our murder mystery movie, The Killer Who Wouldn't Die, next on TNT. For Goose Gibbons, this is Bob Neal saying so long from the Salt Palace.